Page 76, exercise 4.2, rapid changes in hand position or of hand position. Well, yeah, that happens all the time in piano, so we got to learn to get good at this. And as I said many times before, we do practice changing hand position, moving the hands around. Well, you get it all over the place in this piece. Piece looks a little ugly. It's not really that bad. It is a challenge, but let's just talk about it just briefly. I'm going to start with the right hand. It's in D major, so there's two sharps. Do my scale video on D major. Nag, nag, nag. You're up here in this position. It's a D position, way up here. 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E. And that's the way this works. Now it goes faster than that, but that's the point. You got to work out this rhythm very carefully and slowly first. Then once you get it, hopefully you don't have to count anymore. You can play it correctly without counting after a while. But when you go from the second measure to the third measure, you're here. You got to go down to this position. It's the same position. It's just an octave lower. But you got to do that. You end on this note, and you got to go to this note. That's what I'm saying. You got to know where you're at in which finger, and you got to know where you need to go in which finger. And get there. So it's like so, and then when you get down with the fourth measure, you're here. You got to go back up to this position again. You're here to here. Now here you can stretch out a little bit, it'll help you. But you still got to get up there. And then when you go from the last measure, the first line, to the next line, you're going back down. Etc. So your hand is moving around. I don't want to point them all out. Hopefully you'll figure them out. And practice those hand moves, one hand at a time for a while. Now, I want to point out the articulation here in a ways because it's a little syncopated. That means it's a little off of what you expect. And I think it sounds great. Starts with the last measure of the second line. You're here. You're going to slur those. And then you lift up because the slur ended and a new slur starts. Actually, it's a tie. And you see the 4-3. Play it with the fourth finger and immediately put your third finger on it. Immediately. And then you got staccato. And then we're back to that again. And then here. D sharp. Just use their fingering. Now, you got to go from here in the last two measures. Here to here. So you have to work out that carefully and slowly until you can get it. Now, I don't agree with the left hand exactly because when I played this piece, and I think every time I've played it, I've played these octave notes. I've played them staccato. Light staccato. They don't indicate it as staccato. I think that makes it too heavy. This is a light piece. I would much prefer it to be staccato. And then this part, this is supposed to be a little louder and a little heavier. A little light again. And heavy. And then you go on to the other. And again, I would make the left hand staccato. Etc. You get the idea, I hope, and how this goes. It's not allegretto, it's moderato, so it's slower than allegretto. You can decide how fast that is. What is important is that you have all the right notes and the rhythms and all that stuff going on. And that's really changing hand positions. You practice these things because you get it in the left hand too. Hopefully I don't have to point all that out. There's no secret to it. You just watch their fingering, and when you gotta move, you gotta move. Don't mess up the rhythm in the process.